Hey everybody, we're live at Pace Studio on the road right now in Nashville at Jaan's house. This show is presented by our friends at Show X, which helps give musicians control over their own ticketing. We're live right now with Allison Russell. Allison, it's great to see you again.
Hello. Oh, we're so thrilled to be with you in the sunshine, vaccinated, birds singing. And we're going to begin with the first single off of my brand new record, Outside Child, produced by Dan Nobler.
Daniel.
Dan. MVP. It just came out yesterday, so you guys are the release party. We're so happy to be sharing these songs. Night Flyer is about breaking the cycles of abuse. It's about finding transcendence through art, chosen community, and family. And we hope you enjoy.
Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone born, a fine night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning too. Promise that the dawn will bring you. I'm the melody and the space between every note the swallow sings. I'm 14 vultures circling. I'm that crawling, dying thing. I'm the smoke up above the trees, good Lord. The fire and the branch that's burning, Lord. Maybe you were sleeping, Lord, but maybe she's not weeping, no, no, no. Ooh. Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone born, a fine night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning too. Promise that the dawn will bring you. I'm the sick light of a hurricane's eye. I'm a violent lullaby. I'm 6 fireflies, 1 street light. I'm a suffocating summer night. Ooh. I'm each of his steps on the stairway, his shadow in the door frame. I'm the tap-tap of a lunar moth. I'm the stale beer on his breath. His soul is trapped in that room, but I cried back in my mother's womb. I came back out with my gold and my greens. Now I see everything. Now I feel everything. Good Lord, what the hell could they bring to stop me, Lord? Nothing from the earth, nothing from the sea. Not a God Almighty there. I'm a midnight rider, stone born, a fine night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning too. Promise that the dawn will bring you. I'm the wounded bird, I'm the screaming hawk, I'm the one who can't be counted out. I'm the dove thrown into bed. I could roll and shake and rattle. Ooh. I'm the moon's dark side on the solar flare, the child of the air, the child of the air. I am the mother of the evening star. I am the love that conquers all. Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone born, a fine night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning too. Promise that the dawn will bring you. Yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone born, a fine night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning too.
Jen Gunderman.
All right, Jen.
Mara Miller.
Mara.
Dan Nobler.
All right, Daniel. Man, you all sound so wonderful together. I mean, my goosebumps have goosebumps. I was like, I wasn't feeling so hot this morning, and I feel wonderful right now. You guys just absolutely fixed me. So thank you for this performance, just vibrating in all the right ways.
There's no higher compliment than to say something we're playing made you feel a little better. That's all we want.
It's doing it. We're sending the goosebumps through to the internet as well. Thank you for doing this. And can we talk a little bit about the collaborators on the record? There's just a massive lineup of some of my personal favorites. I mean, Aaron Ray and Yola. It's just crazy.
Yeah, the choir of angel voices on the record. Exactly. My dear chosen sister Yola, Aaron Ray, who is the reason Dan and I connected, actually, because Aaron was doing a performance at Third Man Records, and so was my other band, Birds of Chicago, and we met that night, and I just was blown away by all of their sound and Dan's contributions. And then I went and listened to the record that Dan produced for Aaron Ray, which is a stunning record, and that was when I reached out to him to see if he would be interested in producing Outside Child, and now we're chosen family. So we're grateful to Aaron for sure for bringing us together. And the McCrary sisters, who I've just admired for so long, they are some of the angel voices on this record. And then our whole band of brothers that just uplifted every track. My partner, JT Nero, who co-wrote many of the songs with me and is my partner in Birds of Chicago. Drew Lindsay, who is JT's little brother, my brother through marriage. Christopher Merrill, who's played for years, both in Birds and in Poe Girl, my previous band. Jamie Dick, who is he's our connector, I think, for all of us. He's like the Nashville ambassador. He's a huge part of the reason why JT and I moved to Nashville. He and his wife, Allie Sperry, who's also an incredible songwriter and singer. So Jamie, and then Dan's brother from another mother, Jason Berger, came from New York to be the second drummer on the record. Joe Pizzapia, who I admired from afar, but I really didn't know until we got into the studio. And again, a brother of Dan's, and now our chosen brother too, was just magical. And Jamie also plays in Our Native Daughters with me, which is another project I'm part of with Rhiannon Giddens and Amethyst Kia, who has a record coming out next month.
And she'll be here tomorrow.
Is she here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, give her my love. I think hopefully she's going to come for dinner with us tomorrow too. Because I remembered that she was coming to town. Come back, hang
for her set if you want to.
I may just I think I have to do stuff in the day, but we're going to get to debrief together tomorrow night. But she is incredible. She is just a brilliant songwriter and human, and her record comes out next month, and you guys will get to hear it here tomorrow. Let's see, who else? I'm babbling. I'm missing someone. Who did I miss? Steve Dawson, my brother, long time. So Steve Dawson, we now live a few blocks from each other in East Nashville. He's from Vancouver. He's a fellow Canadian. He's from Vancouver. And I've known him since I was 17 years old. He plays pedal steel on Outside Child. He was one of the first people to encourage me as a musician, as a songwriter, as a singer. And I'm so grateful to him. And it's kind of come full circle where he plays with us in Birds for the last several years. And he made stunning contributions to Outside Child. Ruth Moody, who I've also known since we were teenagers. Ruth and I kind of came up together in the folky scene in Canada, the rootsy, North Americana scene. And I've known her since her first band, Scrooge McDuck, that became the Ducks. And then she formed the Waylon Jennies. And now she is also doing incredible solo work. So Ruth Moody, and she lives here. This is her adopted town now too. So, oh my gosh, when did Ruth move back?
In pandemic times.
Okay, she's not here anymore, but she's still here in spirit, and she's on our record, and I'm so grateful. I mean, so this was it's a solo record. It's my name on the record. I, wrote the songs, and it's autobiographical material, but it was my entire community of chosen friends and family who came together and uplifted every single song. I would never dream of telling any of these folks what to play. Like that, those contributions are all theirs. It's all of these other artists who that we formed the Voltron, the whole greater than the sum of the parts. So I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Nice. Well, I'm super impressed with your recall. I think you got literally everybody. And everybody in Nashville is on the record. And the record is orange, by the way. The vinyl's orange, which is awesome.
Orange.
Good for you for doing that.
Happy.
Yeah.
Well, and it matches because on the artwork, which the incredible cover photo, Mark Baptiste took that photo. He did the cover of the Fugees' The Score. He did the cover of Erykah Badu's Baduism. He did the cover of The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And he did my cover. It makes me want to cry. And just he's a beautiful human. His wife, Jenny Baptiste, they made me, I had to fly to New York during the pandemic to do it, face shield, face mask, terrified, closing my eyes on the plane. And they just welcomed me into their paradise in Brooklyn, the home that they've made there for 18 years. And they made that magical cover happen. And then Tom Dolan did the design, who worked for many years with the head of my label, Margie Chesky. They all began their careers at Virgin Records back in the day. So Margie put that all together. I'm so grateful to her for everything, for uplifting this record, for believing in me as an artist, and for putting me together with stunning visual artists that I would never have dreamt I could work with. So really
nice.
grateful.
Well, thank you for I mean, the record is absolutely delightful. It's just addition of a lot of really great decisions, and it's wonderful. I've been enjoying it a lot.
Thank you.
Sound wonderful here in this iteration today, and we're going to share a lot more music from Outside Child right now, right? What's coming up second?
This is called Persephone, and it's an homage to my first love. I had to leave a very abusive, violent home when I was 15 in order to survive, and I would have died if it were not for the loving circle of friends that I found, and in particular my first love, who gave me shelter in the winter and taught me about love, unconditional love, consensual love, non-abusive love, and I'm very, very deeply grateful to her. So this is an homage to her, but I was really thinking, each of us has those people from our past who helped us see ourselves more clearly, who helped us believe in ourselves more, and hopefully we did the same for them. So in that spirit, Persephone.
Blood on my shirt, 2 red buttons, might have killed me that time. Oh, if I'd let him. He's slow and he's drunk and he lost his grip on me. Now I'm running down La Rue Saint-Paul, trying to get out from the weight of it all. Can't flag a cop, I know he won't stop. I go see Persephone. Tap, tap, tapping on your window screen. Gotta let me in, Persephone. Got nowhere to go, but I had to get away from him. Oh, my petals are bruised, but I'm still a flower. Come running to you in the violet hour. Put your skinny arms around me, let me taste your skin. Mouth to mouth, mouth to flower. Salty, sweet, you give me power. I feel you shake under my lips. Your fingers tender, find my secrets. Don't make a sound, don't cry out loud. Your parents are sleeping just above. I kiss you once, I kiss you twice. Fall asleep looking in each other's eyes. Tap, tap, tapping on your window screen. Gotta let me in, Persephone. Got nowhere to go, but I had to get away from him. Oh, my petals are bruised, but I'm still a flower. Come running to you in the violet hour. Put your skinny arms around me, let me take salty sweet, you give me power. Feel you shake under my lips. Your fingers tender, find my secrets. Don't make a sound, don't cry out loud. Your parents are sleeping just above. I kiss you once, I kiss you twice. Fall asleep looking in each other's eyes. Light on your shoulder. Light on your shoulder, light on your cheek, light telling me it's time to leave. The birds are calling to the morning. Your parents' feet above us stirring. I kiss your belly before I go. Climb back out of your basement window. Back to the cold spot, back to the hard life, back to the harsh bright street. Tap, tap, tapping on your window screen. Gotta let me in, Persephone. Got nowhere to go, but I had to get away from him. Oh, my petals are bruised, but I'm still a flower. Come running to you in the violet hour. Put your skinny arms around me, let me taste your skin. Oh, my petals are bruised, but I'm still a flower. Come running to you in the violet hour. Put your skinny arms around me, let me taste your skin.
Thank you. I messed everybody up singing the same verse twice. I apologize.
Well,
I'll get it right next time.
It'd be boring if it happened the same time every time, same way every time.
That's
so,
right. Yeah. You can hear anyone play a song they know from beginning to end.
Appreciate the variation. You sound so good. This is a real treat for us. You did a live stream yesterday, I think,
Yes,
when the record came out,
yes.
and that was you did some fundraising for the National Bailout Collective.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about your work with that organization, what they do, and what people can do to get involved if they choose to?
Absolutely. National Bailout, it's an incredible Black-led organization, Black and trans-led, actually, organization that are working to help bail out people who are stuck in jail, often for very minor infractions or alleged infractions, who can't afford to get out of jail. And in particular, this campaign that we're supporting is called Free Black Mamas. And one of the problems with arresting people for things like a tail light being out, or running a stop sign, things like that, when you jail a mother who has children at home, then there is exponential harm that occurs to that family who may not have anybody else to care for them, those kids. And there are, we know how bad those stories can get. Look no further than Khalif Browder and what happened to that young man, jailed for 3 years on Rikers Island with no charges over an alleged stolen backpack. And, he had the courage to talk about his experiences, but he was not able to survive what happened to him in that jail. And I just think about that, and I think about the exponential harm that's being done with the criminalization of Black people in this country. And what the National Bailout is doing is helping to reduce harm, and they're helping keep moms and families together. And I can think of no better time of the year, May. It's Gemini season. I'm a mom. We're just past Mother's Day. The idea of getting to be some small part of helping a mom get home to her kids fills me with gratitude. And so I'm very, very proud to be supporting National Bailout's Free Black Mamas campaign. and I hope you'll join me in that. The concert is up for the next 24 hours, I believe, and you can, it's pay what you want and what you can, and all of those proceeds will go to National Bailout, Free Black Mamas. In addition to, we're going to be releasing special audio of our song Night Flyer, a special collaboration that we did with Brittany Spencer, Brandi Carlile. It's going to premiere on Jimmy Kimmel on the 25th of May, which I cannot believe. Thank you. That will be our national TV debut, but the audio subsequently will live permanently on Bandcamp, and all of those proceeds will also go to National Bailout and Free Black Mamas campaign. So thank you so much for asking me about it and amplifying and uplifting this work that we're trying to support.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it matters. It's a heartbreaking state of affairs, and we can do better. So thank you for drawing attention to it, and we'll drop a link into the comment section as well if people want to get involved.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's always wonderful to see you. I think I've seen you in every iteration. I saw you with Daughters at Newport in 2019.
Yeah.
We hosted you and JT last time we were in Nashville.
That's right. That was so much fun. That was one of our last hurrahs, playing for you guys and for Hardly Strictly Bluegrass. So, yeah. And I guess Focal Lines, we did a special thing for Focal Lines too.
Nice. Well, every iteration I've ever seen you in has just been absolutely delightful. And there's something really, you sense that there's something special about this, right? About this record?
It is a strange conjunction of serendipitous events that allowed us to make the record. I have to say a huge shout out to the Canada Council for the Arts. I'm a Canadian artist, born and raised in Montreal. And the reason we were able to go into the studio, we actually recorded these songs just after Americana Fest in 2019. We were all home, and 4 days magically came free at the Sound Emporium, which is one of our favorite studios here in town. And I found out that week, basically earlier that week, that I got this grant from the Canada Council. It was actually a writing grant and a grant to make some demos. And so even when we went into the studio, I was still in some denial about the fact that I was making a solo record, because it's the most terrifying thing I can think of. My entire career, which is almost 20 years long at this point, my first record with Po Girl came out June 2003. So I've been almost 20 years in this, following this calling, and I've never wanted to step out on my own or put my own name forward in that way. And so it was sort of like, this is one of the biggest fears that I'm facing right now. And even in the studio, I was in denial. And both Dan and my partner, JT, were like, okay, yeah, sure, demos. Mm-hmm. And by the end of it, we knew we had a complete journey, its own world and its own space and its own piece. And it was a record, and it was finished. And I honestly didn't know what to do with it or even how to begin putting it into the world. And we were so busy on the road. We were touring right up until March of 2020 when the walls of the pandemic came down with Birds of Chicago, between Our Native Daughters and Birds of Chicago. We were out on the West Coast with the Wood Brothers when the lockdown happened, and we flew home March 11th, and we haven't gone anywhere since, obviously. All of us, the world stopped. Business as usual for obvious reasons. And during that time of deep discomfort and tragedy and loss and reflection, I started doing some outreach around this record, and it was actually our dear friend Brandi Carlile who passed on the record to Margie Chesky at Fantasy and said, I really think you have to hear this. And she connected us, and that's all of this momentum has built around it since then. And I feel like all of it has been, people that I've known for years in this industry, dear friends, fellow artists, championing the record. Dan sent it to Tom DeSavia at Concord Music Publishing, and now JT and I both have a home as writers with Concord Music Publishing. We were able to pay our rent and feed our kid during the pandemic, because Dan makes me want to cry. Sorry. It's just like, it's just really emotional, and I'm so grateful. Forgive me.
No, this is it's so special. This record.
Yes,
it's one of my
I do feel
absolute favorites. And if there's any fear or doubt on your part, I'm happy to travel around with you and be your hype man and just reaffirm that this album rules as much as you need to hear it.
You can do it. I would love that for you to come be our cheerleader, our hype man. I'll take it. Anyway, forgive me. I'm so overly emotional lately. But I am very grateful. I'm very cognizant of the fact that there's an entire community of people I adore, artists I adore and respect and admire and am inspired by, who have just formed a coalition around this work and are helping, to get the word out. And I'm just so deeply grateful. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing it with us today. And we're only halfway through. There's still a lot more of your music to be shared with everybody.
Yes, we're going to play you a couple more songs. Yeah, absolutely. This is Fourth Day Prayer, and I guess it's the most explicitly autobiographical about my abusive past, but that is the past, and it's a hopeful song. And the Fourth Day Prayer it's a dream of the world of true equality and compassion and care and empathy that we're all reaching for. So it's a hopeful song, despite the painful beginnings. Mount Park. It was all mine after dark. Old willow tree, it was my throne till I went home. Father used me like a wife. Mother turned the blindest eye. Stole my body, spirit, pride. He did each night. It's one for the hate that loops and loops. Two for the poison at the roots. Three for the children breaking through. Four for the day we're standing in the sun. Ooh, ooh, ooh. These are the best years of your life. If I'd believed it, I'd have died. Something told me that they'd lie. Oh, I survived. Left home, I was just a child. Slept in the graveyard under the mile. When the sun came up and found my skin, I rose again. It's one for the hate that loops and loops. Two for the poison at the roots. Three for the children breaking through. Four for the day we're standing in the sun. Ooh, ooh, Slipstreams and fever dreams. Do you see what I can't see? Well, tell me, I want to understand. From the coast of Africa to the hills of Grenada, to the cold of Montreal, that whip still falls. It's one for the hate that loops and loops. Two for the poison at the roots. Three for the children breaking through. Four for the day we're standing in the sun. Hate that loops and loops. Two for the poison at the roots. Three for the children breaking through. Four for the day. One for the hate that loops and loops. Two for the poison at the roots. Three for the children breaking through. Thank you so much. Oh, I wish you guys could see what I'm seeing. There's just this stunning, magical fairy grove of trees and lights and birds singing. Maybe you can hear the birds and just dappled sunlight. I mean, dappled things, right? Gerard Manley Hopkins, right? He wrote The Glory of Dappled Things, or there was a line in one of his poems, to dappled things. Anyway, I love it.
And it just goes and goes. There's nothing but trees out that
so
way. And
beautiful.
A couple coyotes, maybe an armadillo.
Yeah, coyotes, armadillos, Tennessee songbirds.
You've got, like you were saying earlier, you've got the Kimmel Show on the 25th,
Yes.
which is awesome.
Yes.
You're playing Newport this year, so I'll see you at Newport.
And I'm making my Opry debut on May 28th, which
Yeah.
I'm still just like, what is going on right now? I don't know what's going on, but I'm grateful. Very, very grateful.
So how does it feel
Yeah.
to be gearing back up, to get out into the real world and back at it?
I can't tell you how it feels like a renaissance. It feels like rebirth. It feels like hope and life returning. And, it's painful to have that juxtaposed with what is happening in many places abroad. Even in my home country, where they're having a hell of a time rolling out the vaccines. My family in Ontario is still in lockdown. A lot of my family in BC and Quebec, and obviously, just what's happening sort of in India and the Middle East and globally. It's so tough. It's so tough to reconcile these things. It's impossible to reconcile these things. But I know that the answer isn't feeling ashamed of joy. I know the answer is making more joy, more opportunity, more equality for all of us. And the only thing I know to do to contribute to that is to tell stories and share stories and try and humanize each other, because these kinds of cycles of violence and abuse and bigotry, they're the same. It's the same cycle globally, and breaking it requires facing it, requires empathy and compassion and feeling someone else's situation as though it were our own or our own child's. And we're not there yet, but I feel like we're getting closer. I think we're getting closer than we've ever been in our human history, which is hard to reconcile when we're in this moment of seeing the worst of us on repeat, on 24-hour news cycles, like the worst of what we are capable of as a species on repeat, because that's what, I guess, sells advertisements or something. But the reality is that we are in a period of greater peace and awareness. The fact that we think about human rights or children's rights or women's rights or trans rights or any number of BIPOC rights, any of that is so new in our human history. And it gives me hope when I think about that, when I actually look at the statistics and human evolution, how much less violent we in fact are in this time. That gives me hope that we're edging closer and closer to a tipping point where there can be peace and prosperity for more of us. And I don't know, I'm rambling, but all of this is to say is I'm very grateful and joyous that the gigs are returning, and that we just got to keep expanding out the circles of love and protection and care, till we're all standing within that magic circle,
Thank you.
That's
Thank
it.
you for sharing. I mean, it's always, I don't think you're rambling at all. It's always a
I'm kind
pleasure
of
to hear you
rambling.
talk, because it matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important stuff, and it's, I think you are doing your job the absolute best way that you can be. There's a transcendent quality to what you're doing here right now that's, there's something very hopeful about that. It's like, yeah, a lot sucks, but a lot does not suck at the same time. And it's, it's very, very hopeful and goosebumpy. I don't know if the camera can see that or not, but it's been like that the entire time you've been playing. So I really appreciate it, and there's still more music.
Yeah, we'll leave you with this one. This is a tune toward the end of the record called Poison Arrow. And, for years I was afraid to go back to Montreal because it held so many painful memories. But something really shifted to me when I became a mom, shifted within me when my daughter Ida was born 7 years ago. And I just feel stronger and braver, or at least able to pretend to be braver, because I cannot allow her to inherit any of the dysfunction that I grew up with. And it has been a miraculous thing where going back home now just feels joyous. Sharing my city with my daughter feels joyous. And I think that's something that we don't everybody is a survivor of something, right? None of us gets out of this life without experiencing trauma, and trauma is trauma, and therefore that means we can have empathy and understanding for any person in whatever situation that they're in, because trauma is trauma. And I would just want my daughter to know, and anyone who's listening today who's maybe trapped in a really severe or tough or violent situation, that there is life beyond that, and there are people that are going to see you and love you for who you are, and finding your chosen family. I mean, that's all of anything that's ever happened in my life that's good, is finding my chosen family and community and reflecting ourselves back to each other, like that there's another story we can tell. And so that's kind of what Poison Air is about. It's like that little bit of poison doesn't have to kill you. You can grow, and you can change the narrative and break the cycles. I know it's possible because I'm alive. So, and that was improbable statistically. So yeah, I have hope. And this song is very hopeful, Poison Air. Be kind to me, and I'll be kind to you. It's not just your poison, it's the bow, the string, shaft and feather too. The rush of the wind, the blue sky above, the rain that soaked the ground to give thee oleander love. Go in peace, be not afraid. Rolling easy, namaste. Are you sad and broken travelers? Come on. Poison arrow broke in my chest, but I'm in my finery. À le divan, on boulevard Saint-Laurent, sipping dry sherry. The sun is bleeding slow. She does in pink and blue. It is on the radio, singing trust in me and all you do. Go in peace, be not afraid. Roll 'em easy, namaste. Are you sad and broken travelers? Come on. Je te souhaite la paix, je te souhaite l'acceptance, je te souhaite une deuxième chance et le cœur d'un enfant. Routier, routier, chantez, chantez, l'heure des miracles est arrivée. Le poison peut être médecin si t'en bois une goutte seulement. Go in peace, be not afraid. Roll 'em easy, namaste. Are you sad and broken travelers? Come on. Go in peace, be not afraid.
me. Roll 'em easy, namaste. Are you sad and broken, travelers? Come on.
Thank you for coming and doing this. It looks wonderful, sounds wonderful. It's just the perfect setting for this music. And it's, I mean, that song, the first time, I'm just hearing it right now. I heard it in soundcheck, and I have that feeling that, I mean, the last time, the first time I heard American Heartache, that Wood Brothers song, I got that feeling, and I could tell I was going to be listening to that song constantly for the rest of my life. I felt that way about Black Pumas, that Colors is amazing, and I feel that way right now about Poison Arrow as well. It's going to be on heavy rotation.
Compliment. Thank you. I love the Wood Brothers and the Black Pumas, so that's a huge compliment. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. This was just so joyful. I just want you all to know again, this is the incredible Jaan Gunderman.
All right, Jaan.
The magnificent Mara Miller. And our intrepid producer, my brother from another mother, Mr. Dan Nobler.
All right, Daniel. And of course, Allison Russell. Thank you so much for doing this. Have a great Kimmel. Have a great Grand Ole Opry. Best of luck on the record. This is amazing. Thank you for being here. I'll see you at Newport.
All right. Bye. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Jaan.